Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Wade Watches. I'm Wade, and today I'm going to be reviewing Scream 6, directed by Tyler Gillette, Matt Bettolini Olpin, and starring. Yes, I'm looking at my phone. There's a big cast and there's a huge cast in this movie, and starring Jenna Ortega, Melissa Barrera, Hayden Panettiere, Samara Weaving, Jack Champion, Mason Gooding, and Courtney Cox. So this this movie has been where to I don't know where to be I don't know where to begin with this. I'm trying to say I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. Let me just spit it out right now. Um so it's a direct sequel to Scream 5. So same characters in that movie. You know, the daughter of Billy Loomis, Samantha Carpenter, and her sister Tara, and their little friend group, and also returning is Gail Weathers. But it picks up pretty much like right after 2022's Scream 5. And with Scream 5, I thought it was okay. It basically took a page out of Halloween, the 2018 Halloween reboots book, where it's like, this is a direct sequel. This is more or less a direct sequel to the original. We're not really going to acknowledge, if at all, acknowledge the previous installments in the franchise. That's more or less what Scream 5 did, and it was decent. It wasn't like as good as the first two. I really like the first two Scream movies. Scream 3 is definitely the worst in the franchise. Scream 4, and Scream 5 better than 4, but nothing groundbreaking. Whereas this was pretty damn good. Again, better than I was expecting, and hell, I would go so far as to say that of all six of these movies, this might be my favorite sequel, like my favorite movie in the franchise since the original, just because it finally breaks that mold. This is a franchise that's always been about how meta it is, how self aware it is of the slasher movies, and kind of in that sense, like there's always a movie geek character that breaks down what's going to happen based on the cliches of slasher cinema. There's that meta in universe franchise called Stab in these movies. So it's a very self-aware, over the top franchise. And fun fact, I recently like marathon all five of the Scream movies leading up to this one. That's why I'm talking so much about the other ones. And it was my first time watching Scream 2 and Scream 3. I have seen Scream 4, but like really long time ago. That was actually the first Scream movie I've ever watched. That was my introduction to this entire franchise. So I can definitely say with full confidence that I think that this is a very meta, self-aware, dark comedy horror slasher franchise that because of those things makes it really unique and sets it apart from, say, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare Before Elm Street, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, all the other ones, which more or less take themselves really seriously. So that's definitely something that makes this franchise unique. And in that sense, in that spirit of being meta and self-aware of what's going to go down, Scream 6 isn't that different. Doesn't really break the mold, but to me, it really is more unique than its predecessors because of one big thing, and it's the thing that's been hyped up in all the advertising. It doesn't take place in Woodsboro, Michigan. Am I getting that right? You can let me know in the comments if I'm not naming the correct state of this fictional or non-fictional town. I don't know if Woodsboro is a real place. I don't think so. I've never heard of it. But it does not take place in Woodsboro, as you know from all the advertising, and even the posters are have it on there. This movie takes place in its entirety in New York City, and I think that's what makes it so unique for me, and even a bit. terrifying, because as I said, as the marketing has been saying, it's a city of millions and millions of people. This movie takes place around Halloween, and so you have a bunch of people who dress like Ghostface. So I'd say that in Scream Six, more than a lot of the other previous installments in this franchise, I really felt that sense of fear and paranoia, and just like that sense of like impending doom that any of this group of friends could die in here. And I will also say, speaking of the friend group, I can't remember everyone's names off the top of my head. I would say that here, since they know that the stakes are higher here because they're in a bigger city and there's a bunch of people dressed like Ghostface, their bond was definitely stronger in this movie than it was in the previous movie. The previous movie, they just kind of felt like manufactured, high school teenage cliches, serviceable but nothing exceptional. Here, you can tell they really do care about each other, and they don't want any one another to get hurt. The guy in the group, again, I don't remember anyone's names. He calls them like the core. We're the core four. We're the four survivors. He keeps trying to, get them to, embrace that nickname, and they don't want to do it. That was pretty funny. So yeah, I really felt that bond between this group of friends more here than I did in Scream Six, and I like this group of friends here and what they did here more than a lot of the other previous movies. I like the fact I like the fact that they're trying to finally take this franchise in a new direction by not depending so too much on all the legacy characters. I don't think this is a spoiler. I'm gonna say it. I don't think it's a spoiler. I think this is already well known. You don't get Sidney Prescott in this movie. Spoilers for Scream Five. Dewey has been killed off, and Gail Weathers is here, but she's not front and center like she was in the previous movies. This is more or less Samantha and Tara's story, the two sisters from the previous movie. So that's who's front and center here, and I like that. And I also like how Samantha and Tara are not Sidney Prescott. They're their own characters. They react to being stalked by this mass murderer a bit differently. They have a different view on what's going on, and they're just overall different characters. And it was very refreshing having just finished watching all five of the previous installments, for on consecutive days on end. It was refreshing to see something done differently, with different characters and whatnot. So yeah, I really enjoyed Scream Six. The kills, man, brutal. I've heard before that this is like the most brutal that Ghostface has ever been. Accurate, like, dang, man. Um, and the whole subway sequence that has been teased in trailers, really well done. It's like paranoia and anxiety dialed up to 11. I love the crap out of that entire sequence. That was amazing, and one of the best set pieces in the entire franchise. I am not exaggerating. And yeah, like I said, seriously, this may very well be my favorite sequel to the franchise. That might change over time. I do want to go out and see it again in theaters, but for now, I'm gonna say it's my favorite. I liked I liked Scream 2, and as I it was pretty good, but I can't say that it was like, oh my gosh, it's so earth shattering. And like I just said, Screams 3 through 5. Scream 3 wasn't a big fan. 4 and 5, it's all right. But this was something different. It was something refreshing. It was comedically terrifying because this is definitely a dark comedy horror franchise. It's not straight up horror because again they make meta references to how ridiculous this all is. So it was comedically terrifying, and it got the subway scene was pretty intense. So yeah, there's not much left for me to say. I don't have much more to say than I really enjoyed Scream 6, and it's one of my personal favorites in the entire franchise so far. And you, if you're looking for really gruesome kills, you're definitely gonna get that here. And I give it an 8 out of 10. Um, it's nothing. Again, I don't want to make it sound like it's really groundbreaking or thought provoking, and it does kind of rely on. It still does kind of have some of those tropes, but I feel like out of all of them, this really does try to do something different. Like the opening sequence alone lets you know that this isn't going to be, another typical chapter in this franchise. It's not going to be a straight up rinse and repeat, but it does still rely on some of those things. I guess, you can't break the formula too much, which is also something that's a little bit referenced in here, meta reference. So, yeah, but still, 8 out of 10, really enjoyable movie. I really enjoyed Scream 6. And I'll say for the record that I wasn't I wasn't thinking this was going to be as good. I mean, it's the sixth installment in a horror franchise that's been going since 1996, and usually the sixth installment in horror franchises of all things are like trash. So the fact that I ended up enjoying this much more than I thought I would is really a pleasant surprise. 8 out of 10 for Scream 6. Go check it out. This has been this has been another edition of Wade Watches. That brings this episode to a close, and I will see you all next time.